Marquez has already settled the most critical element of his Ducati agreement. The only thing missing is the final signature on paper. Public reports describe the talks as ongoing, with both sides nodding that key terms have been aligned, yet the deal remains fluid. In reality, this reflects two parties moving toward a common path, but the underlying power dynamic was decided long ago. The recent Thailand round only made that imbalance more obvious. Ducati is not the one holding Marquez, rather, Marquez holds the keys for Ducati. The reigning world champion did not show up at the Bararam season opener as someone desperate for a secure future. He arrived as the rider who had already validated Ducati's bold decision. Just 1 year after departing Honda, he climbed aboard the Desmostis and transformed a championship contender into a dominant force. With 11 Grand Prix wins and 14 sprint victories, he clinched the title with 5 rounds to spare. A bike that was already exceptionally strong became unstoppable in the hands of MotoGP most clinical finisher. Factories remember seasons like that, they become reliant on them. When contract renewal discussions started, many assumed it would be a straightforward process. Ducati had built its modern dominance through careful control of the rider market, satellite teams, internal development pipelines, strategic promotions, and calculated rotations. The motorcycle always came first, riders were seen as interchangeable parts. Then Marquez arrived and shattered that model. Suddenly, the fastest bike on the grid was paired with the most formidable rider. That combination fundamentally alters how negotiations unfold. The shoulder injury added another layer, with official statements emphasizing medical prudence. Marquez wanted to feel completely confident in his physical condition before committing long-term. On the surface, that makes perfect sense. A rider recovering from a significant injury needs reassurance that his body can handle the extreme demands of braking and cornering at top speeds. Shoulder issues can affect stability, leverage, and precise control under heavy loads. Yet the timing of these discussions deserves closer attention. The injury-related pause coincided precisely with a highly active rider market. Pedro Acosta rapidly emerged as one of the most sought-after young talents. Whispers of factory Ducati interest in him for 2027 began circulating. Francesco Bagnaia, though still contracted, faced challenges in matching the champion's level of control. Fabio Quartararo's situation remained a constant talking point as Yamaha pushed for improvements. In short, the market was shifting and Marquez effectively hit the pause button. When the sport's most valuable rider chooses not to sign right away, it creates ripples across the entire paddock. Other factories grow cautious, riders hold back, and speculation intensifies. Ducati finds itself unable to lock in its long-term plans without the rider who currently sets the ceiling for its success. That hesitation hands over leverage. The Thailand weekend only highlighted it further. Marquez did not enjoy the same level of total supremacy as in the previous season. The competition felt closer, with riders like Marco Bezzecchi showing real pace. Ducati no longer seemed invincible everywhere. Still, within the Ducati family, Marquez stood out as the top performer. He battled hard for the sprint win and was in contention for a Grand Prix podium until a mechanical issue, a rear wheel rim failure after hitting a curb in turn 4, ended his charge. The hardware gave way before his performance did. Without that breakdown, another strong result would likely have reinforced the established order. The key takeaway remained unchanged. The strongest Ducati on track belonged to Marquez, not Bagnaia, not any satellite rider. The champion continued to serve as the benchmark inside the garage. When a manufacturer depends on one rider to confirm its competitive edge, contract talks cease to be balanced discussions. They become exercises in leverage. Ducati cannot risk instability around the rider who has already delivered a championship with their machine, especially with engine regulations frozen through 2026 and a major technical overhaul looming in 2027. Stability carries more weight than ego in this environment. So Marquez takes his time. He acknowledges that most points are settled and that he simply wants full physical assurance before committing. Both claims are accurate, but the outcome is unmistakable. Every passing week without a signature heightens Ducati's desire to secure him. The factory fully understands the alternative. A championship-winning rider walking away would strip away more than raw speed. It would remove the central reference point around which the entire performance structure revolves. This represents a quiet but profound reversal. Ducati historically dominated the rider market through sheer abundance. The fastest bike drew a constant stream of options, allowing seamless rotation when needed. Andrea Dovizioso, Jorge Lorenzo, and others came and went, but the machine endured as the constant. Marquez dismantled that approach not with maneuvering but with undeniable results. He joined as an outsider carrying 8 world titles and unmatched mental strength, then immediately elevated the Desmostis to new heights. Internal products of the Ducati system can be cycled through. External icons who arrive fully formed cannot. By delaying his signature, Marquez forces Ducati to face a strategic vulnerability it long avoided. The factory that once dictated terms now finds itself waiting on the champion's timeline. This dependency comes with risks, visible in the rising talent behind the scenes. Pedro Acosta sits at the heart of future speculation, his early premier-class performances fueling high expectations. Other young riders continue advancing through the ranks, while satellite squads develop prospects ready to claim factory seats soon. The 2027 regulation reset adds urgency, as entirely new machinery will reshape the grid. Renewing with Marquez offers clear short-term benefits. He remains the safest bet for continued success under the current rules. Yet overcommitting to one central figure could echo the mistakes that once hampered Honda, where heavy reliance on a single superstar left the team vulnerable when circumstances changed. Ducati has long prided itself on a decentralized model, multiple winners, shared data across teams, and reduced dependence on any individual. Thailand quietly tested that philosophy. While Ducati machinery remained competitive across the board, the rider pushing hardest at the front before the mechanical failure was again Marquez. The incident did not signal a drop in form, it interrupted what would have been another statement result. The weekend underscored that Ducati's sharpest asset is still the rider whose contract remains unsigned. This creates an internal tension. Marquez embodies the current pinnacle, but the next era is already taking shape with emerging contenders. The longer negotiations stretch, the stronger his position becomes with every confirming performance. Ducati's need for continuity grows alongside market rumors. Both parties recognize the reality, which explains the calm public tone. No outbursts, no drama, just measured statements while the inevitable deal takes shape. The delay itself tells the real story. Ducati waits for physical confirmation from the champion, for the right moment to formalize what both sides already know. Manufacturers accustomed to control rarely acknowledge such dependence openly. Yet the paddock sees the shift clearly. Even the strongest motorcycle in MotoGP still requires this particular rider to demonstrate its full potential. The longer he waits to sign, the more evident the changed balance of power becomes. The contract will eventually be completed. The partnership is too productive to fail over details. But the negotiations have already delivered their most significant outcome. In Ducati's era of abundance and control, the factory no longer steers the rider market. For now, the champion does.